Okay, what I'm doing here is part of a new little video series, and I'm just calling it a very simple name. Let's Kairos. So what I'm doing is trying to use everything that I've learned about the Kairos campaign and trying to use it productively and trying to make it as good looking as possible. The first thing is that I get the cultist into the army, and that's a very simple reason because the cultist adds mobility. It's like the lich priests of the Tomb King's factions. So anything that adds mobility, here's the thing. This is where you start. This is just this. This is your capital, but just this is quite a bit of distance. If you don't have a mobility boost, it's going to be a real problem. And then number two is that you fight the first battle, and I'll just run down my hard-earned experience doing this. Not that this is a hard battle, but I just want to use the opportunity to speak about some of the units that you're starting with, and that you'll be seeing a lot of for a very long time. Now, in this case, we're doing it live, and I do plenty of shorts that are with battles like this, but in this case, I'd just rather just start and get on the go. Now, here we have the Exalted Flamer of Siege, and this differs from the Flamer unit that has, on Ultra, has 12 models. So you're doing less damage with an Exalted Flamer than you would with the Ultra-sized at the start of the battle, with the ultra-sized unit. But you have, it's not like it has pinpoint laser accuracy, but you're still doing a lot more damage to a single target entity, potentially. So here I'm having my blue horrors here, having fun jumping around and everything, just waiting for the enemy. Blue horrors are a very important unit. They're actually exclusive to the campaign. You can't get them in multiplayer, which is funny. And I don't really do multiplayer, but I just find it funny that you can't actually use them. So Kairos is a flying lord. His melee attack is pretty abysmal, 35. And in this battle, your biggest problem is the Plague Toads of Nurgle here. So I just have these Chaos Knights go to try and sort them out. It's not complicated. And I will also try to have this breath attack. I say breath attack. This breath spell. Try to do a little warp flame damage here. The blue horrors have enough ammunition to get by. Now here, I don't actually want that guy going after the little troops. There's no point. Alright, the toads are done. I want to get these furies here helping. Well, they're pretty much done as it is. So, okay. I have another breath spell able to go. I'm trying not to hit any of my own units per se. Exalted Flamer is having a little difficulty trying to... did he actually pelt some of my own units? I guess he did. Okay, there's not a whole lot more that he can do with this. I'm just going to send that into melee there and bring the knights over, and here I'm going to take these out of melee to the extent that I can. Okay. Now I want this... this Exalted Flamer is as fast as the old chariots used to be. Now here we have the Lord in a crossfire. That's what we want. We want the Lord in a crossfire. We want the Exalted Flamer to... he can take a hit or two. I actually ignored the army build here. Normally in the early game you are spamming that. But we were just about to get the Lord to rout and demonically disintegrate. The thing about these Plague Toads is that they're anti-infantry. So that's why I put cavalry that's pretty heavily armored, my Chaos Knights, straight up against them. I didn't worry about these Chaos Knights taking too much damage. It would be very difficult for these Plague Toads to do a lot. So it was going to be basically the Lord just damaging blue horrors here through melee contact. So that's basically the problem. You just don't want to have that happening as much as you can avoid it. But later on, horror units become very, very important. And I don't mean the exalted ones, I mean with a tech, you make the regular ones very valuable. So it's very hard to have too many horrors in an army. And here, I'd rather take the replenishments in this case, but it's also very, very early. Do I actually want the magic power reserve? Nah, I'll take this replenishment. Now, there's a few ways to do what's pretty cheesy, but anyway, I don't need the extra movement for this. I'll do it anyway. I'm not sure if it kicks in next turn or what, but I don't need the fireball or anything. I can just go into this next battle, and it's just a very simple settlement battle against mass and numbers. So as long as we don't do anything really stupid, we are definitely going to win, and it's not going to be close. So the point I wanted to make is that more blue horrors is never quote unquote raw. And that's because they do have some ammunition, they have lots of numbers, I mean literally twice the numbers of your pink horrors, and exalted pink horrors as well. So if you have 160 blue horrors, you have 80 pink horrors or exalted pink horrors. They are decent melee combatants on paper. They are not great melee combatants on paper or otherwise. But that's not really the point. The point is that they're cheap, they're easy to replace, and once you get a tech that treats every single one of them as having half of the arcane conduit's bonus to getting your power up here, or in the case of greater arcane conduit, a third of that. It means that 3 blue horrors are essentially giving you the same rapid increase in your power reserve, in your wounds of magic available to you, as Kairos once he hits greater arcane conduit. That's pretty rad. That's pretty incredible. So, in a situation where you have lots of power reserves, but you can't actually use them because your recharge rate is too low, that's where the blue horrors and their bonuses to recharge rate really comes in handy. So it renders you able to actually use the magic that's made possible. So here, because they're actually in range to get pummeled, I am going to start using the magic because it has the warp flame effect, which reduces armor by 10, and which also, let me pause it and you can actually see. Fire weakness 10%, yeah. So that's the warp flame. So it's lowering the armor. Well, they have no armor, but the warp flame gives them a weakness to fire, and basically everything the blue horrors are doing is creating weakness. Excuse me. Is basically everything that they're doing is fire damage based. So the best thing you can do is to make them weak to fire. That's awesome. And because I'm talking, I'm just slightly more sloppy than I might be otherwise, but, you know, not a big deal. Okay, do I want that even there? That's a little close. Okay, I'll try to bring the Furies in, and... if these take too much damage, then that's one thing, but, I don't really need to worry about this anymore. So, bring them in and, just be ready to do a rear charge. What's taking too much damage? Nothing is taking so much damage that I'm horrified by it. Well, that did, because the flamer actually hurt my own Furies, but they're made of glass, it doesn't even matter. So I lost 32 units, 32 models. It's not the end of the world. Now, there are ways to do an ultimate cheese strategy with this, but I'm going to take more of a medium approach. It's not bad. So sacking is the approach to take in order to preserve Kairos' ability to move. And now that he's reached 3rd level, I can check something else here, but I am actually going to prioritize the pink fire of Zinch, so that I have both of those that I can overcast them. In this case, I'm going to actually force march towards the Nurgle stuff over here. I'm going to create a new lord. Okay. Evil Eye. I say that. Rating body, chaos familiar. Cooldown's good. There's a lot of ways you can go about it, but for this, I'm going to pick going for Forsaken. And because I'm trying to use a more special kind of cheese, I'll try to rush Halt Faction. And yes, that is super good, but you don't have to. You'll get it soon enough, no matter what you're trying to do. Also, this is not on Legendary. There might be more extreme cheeses necessary on Legendary to even try to save this guy here, but that's not what I'm aiming to do. Now, I'm doing the Unholy Manifestation here, Scriveners of Insanity, and this is so that once we actually do something with these grimoires, we'll actually be able to get other grimoires that will keep us from being locked out of the text that we're trying to rush. So, I'm going to try and save this guy. In the meantime, another settlement battle, which is extremely like the last one that I did. I'm not bothering with any really elaborate setup here. I'm gonna go here, go here, here. So just by being in a province with pretty decent winds blowing, we're getting better power reserves every time that a turn passes, without having to have a special stance or anything. And we get the victories in our grasp already. I'm just going to use that to annoy them, and then create problems on this end. Kairos is not a melee lord, but it's not that he's helpless either. Okay, I didn't even need them there. See, even just being blue horrors, I mean, these Nurglings are extremely low armored by nature anyway. So, okay, is Kairos getting actually hurt there? I'll send the Furies in just to add a little bit. And you see that morale drops super fast. Well, morale, HP, everything. I don't really mind about the sacking issue. Even though I don't really mind this, this is also a very nice passive ability, so I'm a little torn. I'll worry about getting that later. I don't need to actually rebuild that stuff. Now, with this, what I can do is, instead of getting horrors, I can actually go straight for Forsaken here. And I will in this case. And now what we're doing is we are, well, he's still stuck there. And he cannot change his stance because he's still dealing with the whole Scrivener issue. So we're coming here and taking care of this. Decisive victory, but I don't want to auto-resolve it. Because that'll lead to a lot of damage across the board that I don't really want. So now I've started the battle, I'm going to be mainly concerned about this lord. Chaos Furies, huh? But anyway, I don't have too much to worry about. I just want to will stuff down and then have the Exalted Flame repel the Lord as much as I can get away with. I should have put that maybe on this flank here, but it's really fine. I don't want them to go too early because I don't want everything just marching this way. Okay, the Furies are coming at... I don't care. Wow. Yeah. Just go there. Ah. Look at this. What did I say? But that's fine. Well, it's sort of fun. Okay. The Lord came out to play. Okay, I'm just going to ditch this front. Those guys don't need the help too badly. So I'm just going to... Let's fire at center mass. Once I deal with this, I send everything over there. This is a problem. Okay. I'll just punch over there. Okay, the Chaos Warhounds are not lasting. That's good. Ah, that guy's just... You guys come over here. You guys come over here. You guys come over here. Oh, that's... Yeah. Yep. See, stretching the field will work. It'll work with Zinch anyway. I lost my Furies. I don't care. I thought that they'd last, but no. They're just not a critical unit that, well, they're usually not a critical unit at any stage, but they do have some utility against really early on archer units type things. But yeah, I just couldn't afford to babysit them. Now, what this has done is destroy the Nurgle factions so that we don't need to worry about them anymore. This is something that is going to be relevant for dumping this onto the Slanesh faction and not have to worry about that flank anymore. Now, like I said, blue hearts are not really something that's wrong per se. I'm going to take one blue and one pink here. And then we're done. Now, because we have the extra grimoires, we can actually push here, and it will have a positive effect. So I'll go here for now. Here, want my settlement. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Military access. I'll balance this with, uh, usually they would be paying me, but I'm completely willing to accept this. You give them military access with a trade settlement situation, they are going to be on your side basically the whole rest of the game. Not that you necessarily want them to be, but that's fine. Now, I have room that I could take a couple of more Forsaken if I really wanted to. But I'm going to take a couple of Marauders with Spears instead. Amusingly, they haven't been drowned by Teclis yet. They will be.
Your fate is at hand.
You can say will dampen my hate. No.
So what I have here, after a few turns of, well, it was pretty fruitless. I mean, Teclis did not come and declare war right away, which really threw off my plans a little bit. It's not too serious. I'm just trying to take care of this the traditional sort of way. Which means a lot of wasting ammunition and so forth, and, good old classic stuff. So past 14 minutes, I got the Winds of Magic up to the maximum of 100. And I shouldn't have stood there. So we're fast forwarding a tiny bit because this was a slow and arduous process. And yes, let me assure you that the hate is mutual, and Kairos, me as Kairos, we've had a few encounters with this particular bird of Teclis and didn't care for it. And we're also dropping an Infernal Gateway on that clump of troops. So, not a problem. We just want to make this problem go away. Now, because it's a starting unit and a very valuable one, we really want that bird dead. There we go. Fried Frostheart Phoenix. All it costs is your defeat. Anyway, we're having the Chaos Knights sort things out here, and doing a pretty good job of it. They're a very good and reliable unit, especially early on, but in general, they're just very, very reliable and useful. Unfortunately, you still get models caught in places like that, so it's hard to do repeated charges and do them cleanly. But, oh well. It's also difficult for an enemy like this to actually seriously hurt them, unless they're charging directly into a big thicket of spearmen. And even then, they're probably not going to go down easily. But in a case like this, it's all about maximizing the shots that you have for the magical assault and just picking them apart. Piece by piece. Now, because this is early in the campaign and because, well, it's over water anyway. I don't know if corruption would even apply, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't, actually. So, with high corruption, these missile units of Zinch will actually have more ammunition. And that can be a small thing or a really, really huge thing, depending on the situation. Here, these pink horrors are actually getting close to running out of ammo, which is kind of incredible, really, when you think about it. They don't run out of ammo very easily in a lot of fights, but here they are. On the other hand, I don't need them to go into melee. I don't want them to go into melee. I just want to use all the units that are at least somewhat decently fast, and that's why I like to keep a few Forsaken around. For infantry, they're fast. And Kairos took a real beating. And I didn't want my Exalted Flamer to get wiped out, because that happens very easily with the High Elves, so I sent that off the battlefield. And otherwise, I just casually dismantle this elven army, because what do they have left over here? Archers. Archers, lots of archers. The spearmen are caught in melee, so everything else is just archers and techless. And techless is not enough of a warrior to save them, and also we have a wonderful place to set down one of these infernal gateways. They just chew up armor. The damage values may not be as high as some things potentially might be, but the fact that it's stationary, you can aim it with pinpoint precision. I mean, given the fact it's in an area, but precision enough. Just drop it on a good target, and then just let it do its work. So here we finally have the last moments, and yeah, I didn't chat too much because, frankly, look at the damage that Kairos took in that. Like, it was not guaranteed that I would actually escape with him intact. So, the reason that I went through all the trouble of messing around with the units is simply because I want to be able to demonstrate, even at very fast forward, you can beat a full stack of techless like this on the first try. You don't have to explicitly fear it, but it's, it's not the easiest thing in the world either. Now I'm going to see if I can actually get techless down without, actually damaging my lord here. Because he's on foot, it seems. So for my trouble, Kairos did 47k damage, 314 kills. Damage dealt as gold value 5,000. I managed to keep my Exalted Flamer alive, which is rather difficult against elves, to be perfectly honest. Absolutely take the replenishment. Now, this didn't work like I thought it would, but it didn't have to. Thanks to what we did, Sarthoria was able to finish off the techless army. And we start with diminished movement because I came back on shore, but it's not going to kill us, so we're not going to worry about it right now.
Magic of chaos. Receive Char's boundless knowledge.
Here, this is a just-in-case situation for in case Oxyotl just takes over and does a bum rush towards our capital, which is perfectly capable of doing. This situation is not the one that we want, because it looks like Sartorial just got pasted there.
Keeper of the Destiny Scrolls. Sinch's way. Change beckons. Changing location.
So what we have here is a situation where we really didn't want to be fighting this, but it's how it worked out. I wasn't afraid of the kind of forces that they had at the minor port, so I didn't really fear this outcome. It's just that it's kind of annoying to deal with. So you'll see that because, I mean, entire cavalry are less effective, and we still have the problem of taking a lot of chip damage to units that we prefer not to get lots and lots of damage, but it's okay. It's okay. And I'll just fast forward ahead of a bit. So just to explain, what happened here is that I did something that was stupider than I normally would do. I had Kairos do the sea equivalent of Forced March here because I wanted to be able to go after the Fortress of Dawn, but instead I got caught out here by this army. Now I won. It wasn't exactly a pretty win, but I did win. So this is going to help us get more access to our magic a lot easier. Greater Arcane Conduit. At this point, with full movement, what we should do is just go here and then take Dawn's Light. And then I'll give us a stepping stone towards the rest. It's annoying that we're in this situation, but it's not the end of the world. So, I'll do this battle manually just so that, because I'm the attacker, I can do some different things.